Transpiration in plants. Transpiration is the loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of a plant. You have learned that plants continuously absorb water through their roots. This water is transported through the stem to all plant parts including leaves. Only a very little amount of it is retained in the plant or utilized by it during photosynthesis. The rest of it gets evaporated as water vapor into the atmosphere from the surface of leaves. Process of transpiration. This is the next topic. The water from the leaf veins moves into the leaf cells and from the leaf cells into the small cavities next to the stomata, from where it evaporates. In the gaseous form, that is water vapor, water diffuses out through the stomata into the atmosphere. You have experienced that standing under a tree on a hot summer midday gives a cooling effect. This cooling is not entirely due to shade, but also due to the loss of water from the surface of the leaves by transpiration. You know that evaporation leaves a cooling effect. Cool air, being heavier, tends to settle down. Factors affecting the rate of transpiration. So there are basically 4 factors that affect the rate of transpiration. So the first is sunlight. During daytime, the rate of transpiration is faster. Why? Because the stomata remains open to allow the inward diffusion of carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. During night, the stomata remains closed and hence almost no transpiration occurs at night. The second factor that affects the rate of transpiration is temperature. Transpiration is higher in hot summer days as compared to cold winters. Next factor is wind. Transpiration is more when the wind is blowing faster, as the water vapor is removed faster from the leaves. Humidity. Transpiration is reduced if the air is humid because of the reduced diffusion of water vapor in air. Next topic is significance of transpiration. It helps to maintain the concentration of the sap inside the plant body. This is the first significance of transpiration. We have discussed earlier also. Significance means importance of the transpiration. So, first importance, in that only will continue. The roots continue to absorb water from the soil. If excess water does not evaporate through transpiration, then what will happen? The sap will become dilute, preventing further absorption of water and minerals from the soil. So, it helps to maintain the concentration of the sap inside the plant body. Next is cooling effect. In transpiration, water gets evaporated from the plant. The heat required for evaporation of water is obtained from the plant itself, and thus the plant cools itself when it is hot outside. One thing you can do at home also to check the transpiration, that is transpiration done by the leaves. Clear? So this you can do by one activity, and for this you take 2 small sized well watered potted plants with few branches. Place a polythene bag over the plant and tie it with a rubber band. Remove all the leaves from the other plant. Cover this plant too with a polythene bag and tie it with a rubber band. Means you have 2 potted plants in which one you have used the in both you have used the plastic bag, but in one there is a plant with leaves, but in other there is a plant but there is no leaves. Now place the plants in sunlight and observed after 4 to 6 hours. You will notice that water drops have appeared on the inner surface of the polythene bag over plant, in which branches, leaves are there, while no water drops appear in the polythene bag on plant where you have removed all the leaves and branches. So this setup indicates that most water from the plant is evaporated from its leaves. Now, the next topic that I am going to discuss with you is the insectivorous plants. Clear? So, the plants which trap insect in one way or another to meet their nitrogen demand are called insectivorous plants. And you know, nitrogen is very important for the plant. It is very important for the growth of the plants. So there are some plants that trap insects to meet their nitrogen demand. So out of many plants, we will discuss about the pitcher plant. So the first example of insectivorous plant is pitcher plant. In pitcher plant, the lamina is modified into a pitcher. Apex of the leaf forms the lid and the petiole becomes leaf-like to manufacture food. Size of a pitcher varies from 10 to 20 centimeter. When an insect like an ant sits on the rim of the pitcher, suddenly the lid closes. At the bottom of the pitcher, digestive juices are secreted, which digest the animal protein. The pitcher plant is found in Garo and Khasi hills in Meghalaya. The soil in these areas is deficient in nitrates. The pitcher plant utilizes the insect's protein by converting it into nitrates. You can see the picture of pitcher plant in the on the screen also. Now next plant, the insectivorous plant that I am going to discuss with you is the Venus flytrap. The leaves of the Venus flytrap have long pointed hair. It is divided into two parts, having midrib in between, like a hinge. When an insect visits the leaf, it closes its two parts and traps the insect. The insect is then digested by digestive juices secreted by the plant. Now the third insectivorous plant is bladderwort. Bladderwort has highly segmented leaves. Some of the segments of these leaves form small bladder-like structure. The bladder has an entry point which can be closed. The insects enter through it but cannot come out and are digested inside. Next is vegetative propagation in leaf. Normally plants increase their population by the help of seeds which are formed in fruits, but often new plants may also be produced from other parts of the plant. Other parts means other vegetative parts of the plant, and such as roots, stem and leaves. This type of reproduction is called as vegetative propagation. Clear? So what is vegetative propagation? The type of reproduction that take place in plants. Clear? That take place in plants from their vegetative parts like roots, stem and leaves is called vegetative propagation. Plant structures which reproduce vegetatively must have some stored food and a few vegetative buds to form adventitious roots and new shoot leaves. Leaves of some plants such as Bryophyllum and Begonia, produce buds along their margin. When these buds fall in moist soil, they begin to grow as young tiny plants, and young tiny plants are called plantlets. So, what are the two examples of the vegetative propagation? Bryophyllum and Begonia. That's it for today. Next topic we'll discuss in the next class. Till then, have a